Let's give it a couple minutes so the others can come join us. Justin maybe on road. Let's see how he says. Hi, Yan. Can you hear me, Yan?
I can hear you. It's very kind of quiet.
So we can Justin can. Okay. Got a problem with Justin. He said he has the driver's license exam to take. So we will see if he can reschedule that because he's supposed to give his personal individual presentation on the case, and he said he couldn't. I don't see why you cannot reschedule a driver's license exam, but he will get way. I don't know how far his driver's license place from. So, and he said he's not driving, so hopefully it's okay. Sitting in the back seat and accessing the class. It's not. I guess it's probably having difficulty to connect. So we'll see. We'll get started. Okay. I don't know if he has time to, well, by the time we finish I finish the chapter, I hope he'll be able to join, at least, give his case, okay? If not, you just have to forfeit his, his grade on the case. Let me share this with you. Screen with you. Okay, let's talk about the business market today. All right. Um, the business side of the market. For the creative industry, what are the roles and the marketing strategies and activities of the business companies? Okay. In the business market, you know, you heard about the word, the acronym B2C, B number two, and C, B2B, B2C. Have you heard about that? Anyone? If you're not, you're familiar with e-commerce, business commerce, electronic commerce, you probably heard this term. B2B, B2C, a lot. B, number two, and C means business to consumer. The B2B, B, the number two, and B, B2B, that means the business to business. Okay? For most of us, for most people, most consumers, they don't deal with the B2B situations. They're not involved in that. We're all consumers, right? Like consumers, we buy things from Walmart, from Target, from Century 21, or from Forever 21. Yeah, all these are all businesses selling to consumers. For them, it's B2C, right? Business to consumers. And you buy things on Amazon, it's also B2C, right? From business, a company called Amazon, to us, individual consumers. Right? But there are also B2B transactions that we are not very familiar with. Most of us are not familiar with. Most of you may be not familiar with, right? Like, for example, your Walmart. Let's look at Walmart. You go to Walmart and you see they have aisles of all kinds of, maybe hundreds of thousands different kinds of products, right? Where do they get those products from? Did Walmart manufacture and make those products? No, of course not, right? We know that Walmart is not in business of making those products. Walmart is only in the business of selling those products. And it's selling, but it's a retailer. Walmart is a retailer, albeit it's a giant global retail chain. Right? They have probably hundreds of thousands of stores worldwide. Right? And for Walmart, where does it get their products that they're selling? They have hundreds of suppliers. One supplier is big supplier is Procter and Gamble. There's a company called Procter and Gamble, P&G. You may not hear a lot about the company called Procter and Gamble or P&G. I'm sure that you are using it in your home. I don't know what kind of brand of shampoo you use in the morning to wash your hair, or the type of soap or toothpaste. Another thing is, household cleaners, Windex, all those things. I don't know what you use. I'm sure you'll find many things from your home that your household use, to wash, to clean, to bath, to do all those routine chores in the house. You use a lot of Procter and Gamble product you're familiar with. but you don't see the Procter & Gamble name. Only it's on the sticker, maybe on the label, there's tiny print. Right? So Procter & Gamble sells lots of its products through Walmart, but not just Walmart, of course. They sell also through other retail establishments. They sell a lot to Walmart. They will ship, by the train loads every day. You see the Walmart trucks, delivering goods from Procter& Gamble to the regional distribution center and then to each individual stores. They do that every day. There is a marketing process from Procter& Gamble to Walmart as well. That's called B2B, business to business. Right? It's unlike a business to consumer. That's actually B2B market. The old B2B transactions are actually huge, lot of money that we as consumers normally do not see or do not experience, do not understand much. Right? But it's a huge market here. Okay. For creative industry, there is also the B2B market. Okay. So in the business market, creative products are considered properties. Okay. They're not products being sold, or consumed or experienced by the consumers. They are we call properties. Okay. The value creation of creative products for business client is a result of processes that have different characteristics as compared to the process used by final consumers. It's a different process. Right? It's a different process because finally, in the end, final consumers are the actual users of the creative products. So businesses are just in the process, okay, and they're still the middleman. Okay? So value of creative products for corporate client or business client, corporate client is not. It's not a result of the consumption experience because the business cannot consume, right? They're consumers, but they're not. They're not end users. Okay? Also, the value is linked to the client's relationship with customers. Linked to the client's relationship with customers. And the value of creative product for business market or corporate client is primarily communicated. It's a communication process. It's communicated, right? Passing information along. And the business are not end users. Okay? So if you look at the type of values enjoyed, value realized, value experienced, right? There's a general value, communicative value of creative products. There's a general value, and there's also within that you have the component of the production process. The production process generates value. There's component of communication process, and communication process also generates value. As to the production process, the specific form of that value creation is through production factors, right? How it is produced. But the communication process involves access to a specific audience, how to access a certain audience for your creative product, and also provider for positive associations. We'll get to that in a minute, right? That a specific form of values being created. Okay? So the benefits to the businesses of the creative products are actually they serve as the communication vehicles. Remember, is the primarily the value is created through the communicative purposes, right? It's not for final consumption. So its benefits is working as communicative vehicles. Okay? And there's the benefits itself, reaching a target market or audience is one of the part of this communication vehicles. Okay? Enhancing the product knowledge is also part of this communication process. And creating and improving product company image is also part of communication, says. Okay? So basically, the benefits of benefits of creative products in this communications process is reaching a certain audience, okay? Enhancing the product knowledge among the members of the audience, and create a positive, corporate image. That's the benefits. Right? Let's talk about the reaching a target audience. We just had, for example, we had a meeting, we had another group study. We had a meeting yesterday about our Shenyang show in Atlanta. Where Atlanta, Georgia is, right? And we talk about how to reach a certain audience, or if our Shenyang show in Atlanta, we are the local organizer, right? And how we help master to reach the audience that Shenyang wants to reach, right? We want to reach mainstream Americans, right? Mainstream Americans, the upper class, the upper middle class, people, right? And predestined people. Have we reached that audience, right? So reaching target audience is a key issue for creative companies, creative industry companies, okay? Reaching target audience. The precondition for this first benefit is that the producer of a creative product or the owner of relative property rights must know which audience its product can access. You need to know which audience can your product access. And you have to reach that audience, right? And be able to demonstrate this to potential advertising investors. You will need investors, advertising investors, right? So you want to find the best way to reach your target audience. Yeah. A variable used to measure the capacity for a medium to communicate with a target audience is reach. Right? When Shenyang, for example, Shenyang wants to advertise on newspapers or on TV networks, right? In Atlanta, we have ABC, NBC, just like another ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, Fox, these networks, right? Which network gets out the best reach for us, or get the best value, okay? So used to measure the capacity of medium to communicate with our audience is the reach. How many? Reach is what? Reach indicates a percentage of a predefined audience that the medium in question actually accesses. See, Atlanta market, for example, Atlanta market, like Fox TV, Channel 5 in Atlanta, right? How many, what percentage of this upper class of Atlantans are reached by Fox TV network? That's the reach. Okay? That's the reach we want to know. And know, we want to find out, and we want to use to compare the media. Okay? This chart shows the target audience of a newspaper market in the United Kingdom, in England, right? In England, in Great Britain, they divided their demographic, the residents or people in England, into different categories. Okay, they call it A, B, A type A, type B, and type C1. Okay, A, B, and C1 are the upper class, upper middle class, and some working families. In other words, it's the rich and affluent readers in Great Britain, British. Okay. The other group are called the C2DE groups. C2 and D and E. These are the working class, working families, and people who are the temporary laborers, who can barely make ends meet. So they are the lower lower classes of British people. Okay, that's one way to look at that. Upper middle class to lower classes. Right, the C to D is here. ABC1 is on that side. Yeah. Also, they can look at the age of the readers. The age of readers, right? The younger audience Younger readers, 18 to 34. You guys probably belong to that. You belong to that younger audience. And there's older audience, over 35 years of old age. And I'm in that group definitely, right? So you can divide that using this chart, using the readership among the upper class, middle class, or lower class people, and also the age group. That's where the newspapers in England, in Great Britain, are located. Right? What does it mean? See, like for example, the Guardian, the newspaper, Guardian newspaper, right? It's read by whom? By upper class people, right? And the age group is between the two, so kind of all age groups, upper class people read the Guardians, okay? Independent, somewhere in between here. And Evening Standard looks like it's by, mostly upper class, middle class, but younger people, the Evening Standard. Okay? The Times is by affluent people, but it's probably older, yeah, older than 35, right? The Daily Graph, the Daily Telegraph, sorry, the Daily Telegraph, right? That newspaper is read by mostly affluent, rich, and people with age over 35, probably even higher than that, right? You see that, right? Daily Mail here is by people is closer to the middle, so it's probably read by people for different classes, rich and poor, right? But older generation, right? Daily Mail, right? What about the Mirror and the Sun? Daily Mirror and the Sun. Daily Mirror is definitely by people of all ages, right? But the poorer, toward the working class. And the Sun is further to the left, working class, people, and tend to be a little younger than the one for the readers of the Mirror. So younger, poor, working class people read the Sun. Okay? So if you are the student union organizer in Great Britain, in London, for example, where do you want to advertise? Let me ask you a question. If you are a student organizer of student in Great Britain, which newspaper would you consider? Hmm? Where would you put your advertisement? Anyone? Come on. Jenny, Yan, Yang.
Email.
Daily email, is it Daily Mail, is that? Okay, Daily Mail. Any other thoughts? No other opinions here? Daily Mail, sorry, but sorry, Jenny, but Daily Mail may not be the best option. Why? It's toward older generation, right? That's for sure. But it's actually, between the rich and the poor, the middle, mostly for the middle class. Remember, Shinli will want to attract the upper class, right? The rich.
Daily Telegraph.
Yeah, Daily Telegraph is a better choice. Right? I think it's definitely the best choice, right? Daily Telegraph and also the Times, and then maybe the Guardian as well, right? So I would go with the Guardian, the first Daily Telegraph, right? The Times and the Guardians maybe, right? And then maybe the Evening Standard, for some younger professionals, right? But they're also in higher income bracket, yeah. And they probably would not go with the Sun or Hero. And so given the target audience, let's say if you're Rolex, Rolex watches, right? Rolex watches or watch, right? Where would you advertise? Rolex watches. Where would you advertise your watch? think it's probably the same with the, I would say, Guardian and the Times, right? And Daily Telegraph. Right? It's similar to Shen Yun's nowadays. Okay? What if you're selling, I don't know if they have that, like say Toyota Tercel or Honda Civic. You know Toyota Tercel, Honda Civic, the cars? Do you know anything about car market? Carmen, you know Toyota and Honda, right? What's in the Honda's line? Honda, you have a Honda Civic, your Honda Accord, you have a Honda Cross Tour, you have a Honda, all different kind of Hondas, right? If you say, let's say you are advertising, you are the dealer for Honda Civic or Toyota Tercel, where would you advertise? What's the best? If you can have to choose just one newspaper or two, what will be the best one for you? You know anything about Toyota Tercel or Honda Civic? 本田 Honda Civic 叫做本田思域。Toyota Tercel, I don't know what it's called, 丰田 something. Right? Toyota Tercel is towards a low end of Toyotas. Right? In the middle class, Toyota, you have Camry, Toyota Camry. I think most Chinese people whoever drive Toyota Camry. That's middle class. They're typical middle class. Tercel is for lower class, right? Cheaper. And up here, Avalon is more expensive, or Lexus is luxury brand. And Honda similar. Honda Accord, the middle class. Honda Civic is probably lower class. Lower class, cheaper cars for mostly for younger people and for college graduates, just college graduates like you guys maybe, or people with a lower income. So where do you want to advertise? If you're the dealer for Toyota Tercel or Honda Civic, I'll go with the Sun. The Sun is probably the best, right? Cheaper, lower income and younger people. That's the newspaper they read. Okay? So this is how you would analyze the media market, find the best outlet for your advertisement. Okay? Another purpose for this for communication purposes, is the enhancing product knowledge. Let people know more about the product, right? Enhancing product knowledge. And once the target audience is accessed, you find the target audience. So you want to find the younger people, young people, low income, right? The next step is awareness. How do you make them aware of your product, right? Creating or enhancing product knowledge happens when consumers pay attention to the message, understand the message, and store it in the memory. Right? If they pay attention, first they have to pay attention to your message, right? So if they got exposed, and then they have to understand it to comprehend the message, so they know what you're telling them. And but still, you need to store it in the memory so they can recall when they're ready to buy another car. They can recall, oh yeah, I remember that Toyota Tercel advertisement. That seems to be the best car for me, for my budget or for my need. Okay. So the message is a key trigger activating this process. So what do you have in the advertising, in the message itself, right? But the medium also has a part to play. As a message, the medium has part to play. In fact, memorization depends on both repetition of the message as well as the credibility of the medium. How do we memorize something we see? How do we memorize the product in the advertisement that we see, where we're exposed to, right? What repetition? Very simple. Just like you study something, right? When you study something new, you want to repeat it, right? Repeat, repetition, make it the knowledge, the brand, the message stick in your mind, stay in your mind. Okay? The other is credibility of the source or the medium. Okay? If you don't believe it's credible, of course you don't believe it. You don't want to remember that, and you don't care to remember that. If it's credible, it's a credible source, credible medium, then it's possible for you to memorize it. Okay? So enhancing product knowledge. Okay? How do you measure the way that you can to measure the effectiveness of advertisement? Okay? The two variables that are used as measures. One is called the frequency, one is the impact. The frequency is indicator reflecting the number of times a medium can reach an audience over a given time period. Okay? Over a given time period, how many times, the consumers, the viewers, the audience can see the advertisement. That's the frequency. Right? And the impact indicates the degree to which the channel adds qualitative value to the message thanks to its credibility and image. Right? If it has credibility, a strong message, strong meaning, and there's the qualitative value added, that'll be the impact of that advertisement. Okay? And one way to measure that impact, right? We use GRP. GRP stands for gross rating point. Okay? You probably heard about this, in news media, in the political campaign, like President Trump, talking about the rating point of CNN is going down, things like that. When they say rating of media, we're talking about the gross rating point, right? So since reach, frequency, and impact measure different dimensions of the capacity of a medium to provide access to a target audience and to create or increase product knowledge among that audience, right? To get a comprehensive view of the effectiveness of a given medium. In business world, companies often use indicators. GRP is one of the indicators. They express all three aspects simultaneously. Right? GRP is one of them. The result of multiplication of reach and frequency. Gross rating point, GRP, equals R times F. R is reach, F is frequency. And your reach times your frequency is your gross rating point. The resulting number, gross rating point, reflects the capacity of communication medium to maximize the total number of audience exposures to a certain message. Right? How many people get exposed to, and how many times they get exposed to. That's the impact number. Let's give an example of doing an exercise of gross rating point calculation. Let's say you have an audience of the medium, 4,000. Right? That's just newspaper. I don't know what newspaper do you have in Middletown, New York, it's a local newspaper, right? In Atlanta, for example, we have Atlanta Journal-Constitution here, right? In Aiken, South Carolina, where I teach, we have Aiken Standard, the local newspaper. Right? I'm sure there is one in Middletown, New York, right? Let's say the audience of the newspaper is 4,000, right? But your target, of people in Middletown, New York, is 5,000, right? And you print your newspaper 14,000 copies a week. It was a weekly newspaper, right? What is the frequency is 3.5, right? 3.5, let's say 3.5. And the reach is 80%. Why is it 80%? 4,000, that's your audience, divided by the total market target of 5,000, give you 80%, right? So you can reach 80% of your target audience 3.5 times, either a week or a month or something, whatever, okay? So what's your gross rating point? GRP is your reach times your frequency, 80 times 3.5, 3.5%, okay? Give you a rating point of 280. Okay? When you want to advertise in a city, in a new city, the city where you want to promote something, promote any product, okay? And you have several newspapers to compare. You can calculate their gross rating point for each newspaper, for each media, maybe TV, radio, billboard, newspapers, to compare their growth rating point. So you can choose which one to go. Okay? And also communications goal includes creating a company image, right? You want to use advertisement to create a company image, right? Creating or improving the image of product, brand, or company means generating or consolidating positive associations that consumers attribute to it, which in turn can lead to consumer preference, right? You want to create a good image, positive image, so they have positive associations, and then that will increase the chance that the consumers will think of you, prefer you, or choose you over other brands. Okay. Through the years in the business market for creative products, certain tools have come into common use for acquiring these benefits. The tools businesses use are corporate support, product placement, and celebrity endorsement. Okay, let's look at all three of them: corporate support, product placement, and celebrity endorsement. Okay, first is corporate support. Right, most nonprofit companies, operating in the creative industries, manage to maintain their financial sustainability thanks to the support from companies that do business in other sectors. They're in other sectors, but they donate money, support money for the cause. By the same token, many for-profit organizations which work in creative industries can find revenue sources in corporate support that provide a critical contribution to the financial equilibrium. Okay? The three most common forms of corporate support in creative industries: sponsorship, cause-related marketing, and donations. They either sponsor something, sponsor an event, show, or a presentation or product, or they engage in cause-related marketing together to support the cause, or just giving money, donations. Okay, let's look at them. Okay. What is sponsorship? Sponsorship involves an agreement between two organizations that gives one, the sponsor, the right to publicly associate the name and the logo with the other. The other is sponsee, sponsor and sponsee, right? In exchange for some form of payment, either monetary or in kind. Okay? If you say this company, let's say Tesla, right? Let's say Tesla. If Tesla decides to sponsor Shen Yun, for example, right? I'm just assuming, okay? I'm assuming, right? And then they reach an agreement. Tesla will pay Shen Yun a certain amount of money, and then Tesla can say put the Shen Yun's logo on its promotional material. See, we are the proud sponsor of Shen Yun. I hope to do that. Okay, the sponsorship. Right? What's the cost-related marketing? Cost-related marketing. Here, an agreement is drawn up between two organizations for the public association of respective names and logos. Company support for a cause, right? The cause may be cancer research, for example, the cure for cancer research, or the organization that promotes the cause derived from the purchase of this product. Specifically, the company donates a certain portion of the revenue generated from product sales to the chosen cause. Yeah. An example of that would be like somebody sell a shoe company, they sell shoes, right? They say, we are sponsoring or supporting, the Cancer Research Foundation, Susan Komen Cancer Research Foundation, and they put their logos on there and on their products to help with the promotion and selling of the shoes. And then in return, they'll give a percentage of the revenue money they earned to this foundation. That will be cost-related marketing. And the third one is donations. Just give money. They say a company offers money, could be money or it could be goods, right? You can offer things, goods, right? Merchandise, products, or time. You get your company volunteers, employees to volunteer for this nonprofit, and that also counts. That also counts as donations. Right? Often the term unconditional donation is used to differentiate this from cost-related marketing. In cost-related marketing, the sponsor or the company that use money also uses the sponsorship as a way to promote itself, right? The donations is unconditional. Normally, it's unconditional. They just give money to the cause, yeah. And not using that for any self purposes. Okay? Donation. Corporate support, right? Corporate support for companies. The objective of the corporate support here is to improve or reinforce company's reputation or the image of its product and brands, right? And used to enhance the awareness of company or its products and brands, right? Used to attain economic benefits, okay? And also for the audience, they're either the current or potential customers, right? It could be communities to include residents, public, private stakeholders, and other institutions. And or it could be the companies, the business partners, or company's own personnel, okay, their audience. Product placement. Yeah. Do you know what product placement is? Have you ever seen any product placement? Let me give you an example here. Do you guys do you like movies? 007 movies, James Bond movies? Do you like James Bond movies? Sure. I like James Bond movies, 007 movies. And in one of the recent movies of James Bond movies, I forgot the name of that. Which was it? James Bond, right? James Bond was on the train, right? And there's a gorgeous Bond woman, approaching him. And he proudly, show on his wrist, a watch, watch. And then the woman said, asked him, what is that? What is the name of what's the something about the name of the watch? He said Rolex, and she said Rolex, and she said no. I think she said what's the name? She gave it a different name, different brand name. What was she? I can't remember that. Just it's on tip of my tongue, but I can't recall it. Bravado. Bravado. Okay. The woman asked James Bond, is it a Rolex watch? We all know Rolex watch. Rolex is a very expensive brand, right? A watch, right? Costing like $10,000 a piece, right? And then James Bond said no. And she said no, not Rolex watch, but a Bravado or Bravado or something, a different name. Yeah. You see that is very typical of product placement, right? It's not the deliberately director and the actors and director of movie or producers deliberately add that line of conversation into the movie. Okay? I think it's Bravado or something. Bravado, another brand name watch. Yeah, that is called product placement. Okay, so what's a product placement? Is a purposeful incorporation of a brand into an entertainment vehicle. Okay, in this case, the entertainment vehicle is a movie, the James Bond movie. You can imagine you have to spend a lot of money to get your brand name, into a James Bond movie. Okay. So basic assumption here in product placement is that many brands have editorial value, right? Editorial values. In other words, since they have an image, they are vehicles of meaning for consumers. Okay. And the three effects on consumers can be linked to the three components of stages of experience. And that the effects can be three components of the stages experience. The three stages are cognitive effects, affective effects and behavioral effects. Okay? What's cognitive? That's knowledge. Affective, that's emotions. Right? Behavioral effects, that's purchase intentions. Make you want to buy it. Okay? Cognitive, okay? The companies want to realize from product placement are really to increase brand visibility in terms of public perception of brands, market penetration, and power. That's cognitive, okay? Outcome. Affective outcome regards the development of a positive attitude, positive emotions towards the brand by identifying it with a celebrity who use it or our context of use. Okay? Behavior outcomes are related to consumers' intention to purchase or use the product. Behavior. So for the product placement to take place, there are antecedents to that. There are antecedents to the product placement. Whether or not an organization succeeds in achieving some or all of the objective depend on two things. Okay. How it executes the placement. Okay? How it executes placement. If it executes the well, it cleverly or clearly or convincingly pass on the message or meaning to the consumers, they're done well, they execute well, okay? Or maybe they execute poorly and not getting a favorable opinion among viewers. That's too bad. Okay? And also the individual characteristic of the target consumers. The individual characteristic of target consumers. Mm-hmm. That affect the effectiveness of product placement. Okay. Next, let's talk about the celebrity endorsement. Celebrity endorsement. You can, for creative products, a company, you can get a celebrity to endorse it. Okay. Actually, I was about to recommend to Shenyi for some celebrity endorsement. I didn't get a chance to talk to them yet, to the Shenyi office yet. But if I do I get a chance to talk to them, I will ask them to suggest them to have a few celebrities to endorse Shenyi, right? But there are some strict conditions as to who can be the celebrity for Shenyi. Of course, that it has to be one person with good morality, good public image, no scandal, nothing bad happening or no negative publicity. So it's hard to find, but I think it's doable. Anyway, celebrity, right? Celebrities can generate value. How? By playing a role of endorser for the products or spokesperson for the organization that use testimonials in communication campaigns. You have a celebrity endorsement, either a serve as the endorser or as a spokesperson. Okay, you can give testimony in the advertising campaigns. Okay, endorsement can take a variety of forms. They can different ways of endorsing product. Okay, you can use a direct use the product, like Madonna, Madonna wearing Dolce and Gabbana, right? It's recommendations. Valentino Rossi's testimonial for Ford is a recommendation, or simply appearing in there, appearing with the product, or attending events organized by the producer. Scarlett Johansson, and parties by Moit and Chandon, and that's just appearing, attending the event. That's good enough. Okay. The two determinants of the value of celebrity endorsement for consumers. Okay. Their effectiveness as an information source and their capacity to transfer meaning. Okay. First, the celebrity. Is he or she a good source of information? Okay. And also, does she or he have the ability to transfer meaning? Okay. From what they endorse from their own image to the meaning of the product itself. Okay. So effectiveness as an information source, here quality derives mainly from credibility, okay? Credibility, which in turn depends on the expertness and the trustworthiness of the source. If the person is considered expert in the area or knows something about this, or is trustworthy, good reputation, and then that helps with the credibility. You guys heard about the Lance Armstrong? Do you know Lance Armstrong, anyone? You never heard about Lance Armstrong? Hmm?
Isn't he the biker?
Yep, he's a biker. Who is speaking?
Uh,
Yeah,
Ian.
okay, yeah. Yeah, he's a biker. He's an American biker. And he won this French Open many times, right? He won French Open. He's a very famous biker. He's has set several records, right? He was a celebrity endorser for many companies, and he made a lot of money. And he had his own foundation, Lance Armstrong Foundation, right, to help certain cause. Right? And then what happened? Years later, I think it's a few years ago, he was involved in a scandal. They found he used drug. He used a performance enhancing drugs. This is that's bad, right? That really hurt his reputation and credibility. And his company, the foundation he established. Now the foundation is by itself, running charitable organization. They had to really struggle to see what to do with a situation like this, with a scandal like that, right? And Tiger Woods, Tiger Woods, right? The golfer, and the golfer also suffered the same thing when he had a fight with his wife, and they got divorced, and he was caught cheating, so everything. So that also hurt, right? Great deal, right? I said that the celebrity endorsement depends on the capacity to transfer meaning. Yeah, this is how celebrity endorsement works in theory. Okay? First, we have this culture, American culture or Western culture here, right? We give the object, persons, and context certain meanings, right? The meaning is embedded or reflected in the celebrity, in the person, okay? And then that's the first stage. In the second stage, the celebrity decides to endorse the product, right? And then the path of meaning moves from the celebrity to the product, okay? And then in stage three, during the consumption, right, the meaning of the product, moves to the consumers. So basically, consumers, accept, or interpret or perceive the meaning, of the product, through this introduction of celebrity in the process. That's what this capacity to transfer meaning is about. That's how celebrity endorsement works. The celebrity endorsement always work? Not always. No, I can tell you one thing. Like, say, for example, I'm a teacher, right? I'm a teacher. We receive a lot of advertisement. The professors, we see a lot of advertisement from textbook manufacturer, textbook publisher, book publishers. What kind of why would publisher advertise to us, to your professors? Because we decide on which textbook to use, right? To use for this class, of course, we have this textbook here, right? This is textbook, right? I chose this textbook as text, as this book, as title for the class, right? Actually choose other textbooks, and that's why they advertise to us, right? If they use a celebrity to endorse textbook, would that work, do you think? If they say, hey, for example, I don't know who's hot, like Tom Cruise is hot, right? Tom Cruise, the movie star. He said, okay, Tom Cruise recommend this textbook to you. Dr. Frank, you should use it. Would that work? Yeah, it would not. Because, I don't even, wouldn't even, I don't even think, Tom Cruise is close enough to be an expert in recommending textbooks to your faculties in universities. And, so celebrity endorsement may work on many things, many things, but not everything. Okay, not everything. Mm. Also, there's a concept called the buying centers in businesses. In consumers, when you go buy something, we just go buy something, right? You get buy something yourself. You guys, you talk to your mom, dad, your friends, say, I want to buy this, I want to buy that. You make a quick decision there, right? In businesses, they don't make decisions just like that. They have buying centers. They have buying centers in business, right? So they have the group of people making that decision as to what to buy, when to buy, how to buy, how much to pay, things like that. Okay? For creative products, the purchase of creative products as factors of production or communication is not a decision made by individuals, but by a group of decision makers who contribute so-called buying centers. Right? So what's a buying center is an organizational unit made up of all the individuals or groups that have a voice in the organization's purchase decisions. People have decisions, right? Typically in buying centers, there are different roles that people play, okay, which resemble the one that emerge in personal scenario with final consumers, right? There is an initiator, person who initiate the purchase, right? The user of the product, right? There is the influencer, people who may have an influence on the decision, right? There is a gatekeeper like the finance people or the accountants who say, hey, you don't have money, you don't have the budget to buy this, right? And then there's the buyer. You see all these people together to form the buying center that make the final purchase decision in businesses, right? Like, okay. Finally, the network. In business to business market, what are the players? What are players in this whole network? Okay, there is the customer. Okay, you have a customer there, and there is a communication agency companies that work on communications, and there is advertising agency handle your advertising. Right? There's a sponsorship agency, right? Sponsorship handle sponsorships for companies, and there's a product placement agencies that can put your product, into a movie or your show, a song or whatever, right? And these will work with the studios, movie studios, sponsored with water sports teams, for example, for sponsoring a sports team. Okay? Advertising agency may work with the TVs, with the publishers, newspapers, okay? And the communication agency may work with the radios, not different. So you can see there's a whole bunch of players involved in this whole network for B2B communications. Okay? That's what I want to talk about today. Let's see. Okay, what about where is justice? Problem with justice. I think I'm going to play his slides, quickly. So I can't speak while him. He's going to lose his point for this part of his assignment. Hmm?
I'm still here. I can talk, but I'm just on the
Oh,
phone.
you're here. Oh, I didn't know. When did you
Yeah.
join?
Huh? Sorry, what?
When did you join the class?
Like 10 minutes ago?
10 minutes ago?
Yeah, because I was walking around outside.
What do you mean? Oh, I mean in the driver's license place?
Yeah, after the drivers, yeah, I was waiting for my mom to pick me up.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
okay. So
I
this
can still
class,
present. Huh?
because you're present. Okay, good. You
Yeah, can
want
you
me
just
to
go through
give
the
you?
slides for me? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do the slides for you. Okay. Very good. Let me. Speaking coach. See slide. Yes. All right. Can you see it? Justin's slide?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, very good. Okay, go ahead.
All right. So today I'm going to be presenting on the creative marketing of Valorant. Next slide, please. All right. So what is Valorant? Valorant is made by Riot Games, another video game company, and it was released very recently in 2020. It's a first-person shooter video game, and it is inspired from another popular video game, CS:GO, which is also like the same concept. And because of the popularity of CS:GO that Valorant borrowed, the new spin that like was Valorant was quickly hyped up by the community and also like the company itself. And the objective is to plant a bomb on site, which is the attackers, and to defend the site, defuse the bomb, the defenders. And it's a 5v5 tactical shooter, but it has abilities and agents. And it had a different name before its official release, which was Project A. Next slide, please. Yeah, and this is just a like quick introduction to like how to play, but you don't need to play it.
Okay.
All right, so what about the company itself? What is Riot Games? So Riot Games was created in 2006, and it was focused on being the most player-focused game company, like to take the players' advice to make all their games better. And there, since they introduced it as such, it also made like the players feel like if they played the game, they could play the best quality game that they could find because the company was trying to make it better all the time. And also like the work environment was considered very good, at least according to the employees. 95% of them said it was very good compared to the much lower average in other US companies. And Riot Games is probably most famous for creating the world famous game League of Legends. Next slide, please. So what were some of the early marketing campaigns in Valorant? Valorant didn't have a lot of early marketing campaigns because it was already pretty popular, but to make it even more hyped up, they used Twitch, which was a streaming platform where a lot of famous people they would like stream them playing games. So this played a huge part in like publicizing Valorant in the early days because they would give keys to popular streamers and they would play and their viewers would see it and they would just like spread it around and it became really popular because of this. And also to make it even better, they added incentive for people to watch because you had a chance of getting a key to play early yourself. So this would raise a lot of awareness and hype it up. Next slide. The campaign ended up being very successful with over 34 million hours watched on Twitch in a single day for some days, and also over 1.7 million concurrent viewers over Twitch. And Valorant remains among the top 10 most streamed games on Twitch. Next slide, please. And another part of Valorant that wasn't necessarily about the game that that spread awareness, involved many people, was its lore, where Valorant had its own like universe, like a story. And because of this, even people who weren't necessarily interested in the game, the story itself was pretty like interesting, so it drew a lot of people in. And this also spread awareness to other people who may not like the game itself, but they were interested in the story. And especially for League of Legends, they had a movie made about their story. So the fact that Valorant's lore could also get a movie also increases publicity even more. Next slide, please.
You see it?
Oh, and for as for appealing to different audiences, Riot also added like real life aspects to it because they modeled the agents and the maps in the game to real life cities and real life countries. Like the agents, some of them represented like France, US, the UK, India, Turkey, and even Morocco. So it was very like it incorporated a lot of different countries and nationalities to like draw more people in. And because of this, like even if you didn't like the game that much, the fact that there was a nationality that was the same as yours, it might draw you in to maybe try it out. Just like I don't know. Yeah. And now Riot Games prided itself on its customer service, and for good reason too, because they had a website dedicated to letting players talk about anything they felt was wrong with the game or that they needed improving on. And because of this, frequently Valorant would be updated to keep gameplay very smooth and balanced. And a lot of players like this, and it's a big part of why not a lot of players are leaving Valorant quite yet. And recently, they even added a survey after certain games and sent it to people so they can improve gameplay experience even more. Next slide, please. And besides all of these things to spread awareness, Riot Games also had a lot of sponsors due to its popularity for creating League of Legends. And some of its most notable ones include Red Bull, Prime Gaming, eBay, and Verizon. All right. Yeah, that's my presentation, and here are 3 questions. Why was Twitch such a good way to increase publicity for Valorant?
Good question. What do you think? The rest of you, rest of the class.
Was it good because it reached a lot of people because they're especially the target group because a lot of
Sorry, it doesn't have good signal, so
Okay, I'm sorry, Chenny, could you repeat it? Your answer? I think you didn't hear you back.
because
oh no,
Twitch
I'm on the bridge right now, so the signal isn't good, so I can't really hear. Is it
You're
okay
on
if you
the
just
car?
tell them if they're correct?
You're on the
Yeah,
car now? You're in the car now?
yeah.
Okay. Can you is the signal getting better now or
I think so. You didn't cut out. Wait. Can you say again, Chinny?
Chenny, would you please? Yeah.
because Twitch is a good platform because it already has a lot of people who play games, so it would be like the target audience already.
Yeah, that's definitely one. Yeah,
So they have
that's
the
the biggest part.
similar target audience, same target audience for both companies, right?
Yeah.
You're breaking up, you're breaking up, Justin. Yes.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Want to go to the next question?
Yeah, sure. That works. What was Riot Games' selling point as a company? Like, what was it that made Riot Games special?
Another good question. What's the selling point? What's the key selling propositions? What we call the key selling propositions?
Was it that they were more player oriented?
Yeah, exactly. They
Okay.
were focused on their players.
In the international scope part of it?
Sorry, what?
International scope for the players from
Uh,
different countries, nationalities.
oh, that's more of Valorant itself. This is just like as a company. Like, what was Riot Games like? What did they pride themselves on? Like
Mhm.
as a company? Yeah, The countries and international, that was more Valorant itself.
Okay, okay.
Nice.
Anything else? Anyone else?
No, yeah, no, that works.
Okay. On the next one.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, name one aspect of Valorant that appealed to people outside of just the gameplay. There was two that I talked about.
The storyline.
Yeah, the lore.
What's the other one? We're losing Justin. What's the other one?
Huh? It was
What's the other one?
incorporating like real life cities and nationalities into the maps and the agents. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's all the question you have?
Yep.
Hey. Okay, very good. All right. Well, I'm glad you finally made it. Thank you. Thank you, Justin, for that. And that's good. And do you play that by any chance? Have you
Yeah,
played it?
of course.
You do. Okay. So what's your personal feeling or experience about this game?
My personal feeling is that they say they're player focused, but a lot of the stuff they add to the game, nobody asked. Or,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. I think that's all I have. Good job. Thank you. Thank you, Justin. Yeah. And thank you for making it well on the run. So just tell your parents, please drive safely. Yeah. And anyone, does anyone have any questions about the class or anything? Okay, if not, okay, I will see you next week. I think next week, chapter 6, it's still Justin's turn for the case study, right? You have chapters 5 and 6, chapter 5 and 6. So that's it, and I will see you guys. See you guys in a week. Have a good weekend. Have a good week, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.